Welcome back. This is Navigating Gluten-Free, and I'm Fawn, and we are just trying to figure out how to navigate this gluten-free life together. All right. I've been doing this for a few years. You may have been doing it longer than me. You may have been doing it shorter than me. I'm not trying to say that I've got it all together because I don't. But what we can do is we can figure out how to do this. Now, I know that you're probably looking down here and saying, Fawn, that is not gluten-free. And I know, okay, this is not something that's gluten-free. And we're going to take it though, and we're going to mess around with it, and we're going to see what the different properties of it are, so that we can actually take this, and then when this is the all-purpose flour, just the standard, enriched, bleached, pre-sifted, all-purpose flour, okay? This is what most recipes are calling for. And what we want to do is we're going to take a cup of this and we're going to put it in a little bowl here. And then we're going to add water a little bit at a time. We're also going to weigh it. So we have the grams, we have the ounces, we have the volume, we have all the information we need to take gluten-free recipes or recipes that call for the all-purpose flour, but that we want to make gluten-free. And then we can say, okay, we're going to make this recipe gluten-free. It calls for this much flour, but I know to take it to each of these stages needs this much water. And so now I know how much of my gluten-free flour to add. So this is going to be a long process with a lot of different flours. Now, this is not going to tell us everything that we need to know, right? So this is not going to tell us how the starchy properties are going to work. This is not going to tell us, how, if it's going to crumble or if it's going to, when it bakes, if it's going to just like fall apart. That's not what we're looking for here. We just want to know how much water do we add to something to bring it to each of the different stages. We want to find how much water we need to add to bring it to like a crumble where we can grab it together and it will hold itself, and then we touch it and it will fall apart. And then we're going to add enough water to make it into a dough where we can kind of knead it, right? And then we're going to add enough water so that it goes into a really thick batter, like a cake batter or just something really thick, right? And then we're going to add more water, and we're going to see how much water it takes to bring it to a, like a pancake batter or a crepe batter, something that you're going to use in frying, something like that. And so we want to know how much water we need to go to each of these different stages. And so that's what we're going to do here today. But I do not want to touch any more of this than I already have without any protective gear. So I'm going to gear up. I'm going to get some gloves on and a mask on and all of that kind of stuff, because I do not want to get this in me at all, or I will get really sick. But let's get going and let's figure this all out together. All right. Okay. I'm all set to go now. Don't mind my little bit of a mess. I'm doing a few of these in the same day. But so we've got our all-purpose flour here, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to just take a cup of it out, and we're going to measure it out first so we can get, ooh, can you believe how much stuff comes out of the bag? Oh my gosh. This is why I won't even pick them up in the store. I don't want my stuff near it. You see, this was outside of the bag. I don't want my gluten-free food anywhere near that. Okay. So let's go ahead and grab a scoop out of here for our cup. And I did measure what my scoop weighs ahead of time. So I can go ahead and take that out when I do the real measurements. Okay. So we have 7.5 ounces. And for grams, 214. All right. Go ahead and add it in here. So this is that flour that is just super, super common. You just see it in pretty much all those recipes. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I've got my little teaspoon here, and we're gonna add just a few of them. And remember to count. 2, 3. Okay. So we're just wanting to get it to that stage where it's going to be just a little bit crumbly. But it's going to stick together a little bit too. So we've got 5 teaspoons in here right now. 144 grams of flour, 1 cup of flour. Depending whether you're American and need those like me. I wish I knew the metric system better. Makes a whole lot more sense. All right, I think that we're going to need to get a little bit more in here to make it do the thing. And it's almost there. It's almost there. All right, so let's get a couple more teaspoons in here. Spread that water out a little bit. Okay. Pretty crumbly, but we really are just trying to, oh, you know, but texture, when I actually touch it, it feels a lot different. So, check this out. So we're gonna squeeze it tight. Oh, it stuck together, and it's just gonna crumble apart. Okay, so we are definitely at that first stage where we're just trying to get it to come together enough to be crumbly. Okay. Like that pie crust or whatever. All right. We added 7 teaspoons there. And it is 223 grams. And 7.8 ounces. Okay. Now we're going to add some more here, some more water, just to try to bring it together and make it a dough. Three, 4, 5. All right, let's see if that'll do it. It shouldn't take too much to bring it from like that crumble into a dough. Not really. When we do the batter, we'll switch over to using the measuring cups instead of the spoons. I have a feeling that a lot of the gluten flours, they're all going to turn out pretty similarly. But I just really needed to touch and feel and really just see for myself here. All right, so we're not quite there yet. Let's add some more. So that was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, it really is coming together now though. See that? Don't think that's quite going to be it, but it's getting close. All right. Oh, you can see why I did not do this in my own house, huh? All right. 11, 12, 13. Okay. So we've got 13 in there now. Not trying to spill, want to keep it all exact as possible here. All right. Oh, it's starting to come together for sure. Probably another couple of teaspoons. So that'll make it 15, 14, 15. Okay. It's a lot easier to tell when you're actually touching the dough here, too. Or at least through the gloves. Oh yeah. See, that's really all coming together. And if I could get in there and knead that, that would all come up and be part of it. Okay. So we're going to say that was 15 teaspoons. And we have 9.9 ounces. And let's check out those grams. 280. All right. Now we're going to switch out to this 1/4 cup measure here. And we're going to try to make it a really thick dough, or a really thick batter. So I'm going to start with just a 1/4 cup there. So it might not become really clear. It might not become like without any lumps or anything like that. And that's not really necessary for what we're doing here. We just want to know how much liquid we need to add for it to get to each stage. And I think this is probably going to do it for this one to make it a nice thick batter. We might need a little bit more. The problem is that I made it into a dough first, so it's kind of coming together. The gluten is getting developed in it and trying to do all of that. I don't know, this is seeming pretty batter-like. Even with it's just sticking together still there. I think this is what we could call like a nice thick batter. Oops. Yeah, I think that we'll be good with this. We'll call that a nice thick batter. Okay, so we added a cup, and let's check out this. All right, we are at 393 grams. 393 grams. And 13.85 ounces. Okay. So next, we want to make it into a thin batter. So let's go ahead and add a 1/4 cup here. Those little pieces are going to start breaking up here. So this here, we want it to be like, not not super thin. We want it to be like a pancake batter, or like something you're gonna fry stuff with, or so we don't want it to be like runny, where it's just basically water plus flour, like if you were doing paper mache or something like that. We do want to have some shape to it, but we don't want it to be too thick either. And all the flours that I'm trying, or most of the flours I'm trying, I mean, they're pretty much all out of wheat. And so, I mean, I guess I'm thinking that all of these ones that contain gluten are probably going to be pretty similar. You know, but semolina might be a little bit different, and, you know, maybe the whole wheat will be a little bit different and stuff too. We'll have to see how that goes. I'm thinking we might want to add a little bit more to make this really that thin batter that we're going after. But I don't think I want to add another 1/4 cup. So we did a 1/4 cup and then plus 1, 2, 3 teaspoons here. And I think that's actually going to be where we need to be. Yeah, because you could totally, yeah, this is like pancake batter style for sure. Especially after these lumps get all broken up in here. Not that I'm going to spend the time to really break all these lumps up. I can make some pretty good guesses here when we get them down pretty far. All right, we'll call that the thin batter. Okay, and let's just do our last recording. So we added 3 teaspoons plus 1/4 cup. And now let's go ahead and wait. Oops. That scale go on. All right, so we're on ounces. We're on 15.1 ounces. And for our grams, 428. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get cleaned up here, and then we will talk about what we actually found here and see if we can do any comparisons.